Hello and welcome to our pastoral update. Pastor Dale here with you. Kind of talk politics with you this week. Crazy, right? But many of you are probably aware that as you just drive around the neighborhood, there's political ad signs everywhere. There's political ad signs on the radio and on any kind of social media and television, if you still watch that. So there's all kinds of advertisements just all around us because it is political season. And our local elections and national and state elections are all coming up here in just a couple weeks. And it really kind of begs the question, how do I as a Christian engage all of that? And also, how do we as a church engage some of this as well? Now, for some of you, you may be thinking right now, well, maybe the church shouldn't be engaging these types of issues. We shouldn't be talking about politics. And I think that's probably a little bit too much of an overcorrection. We as a church do need to be engaged with our culture, with our society, but the problem really becomes, how do we do that? A long time ago, Roger Williams, who was historically a Baptist, talked about this separation of church and state, that there was designed to be this hedge that separated the church, which he portrayed as this kind of garden, kind of idyllic environment, and the state, which was everything outside of that garden. And that wall, that hedge, was designed to be something that the state doesn't interfere in the life of the church, but it wasn't ever intending for the church to not be able to engage the culture and engage and be a part of the state. And so we all know of many elected officials that are people of faith that are in the politics and in local, state, national governments, trying to be salt and light to them. And so for an individual, it's kind of clear that we're called to be salt and light into the community as well. But as a church, I think we do have to be careful in how we engage the political spectrum and all those different types of things. As a pastor, I'm a pastor to both Republicans and Democrats and independents, people that vote in every election, people that haven't voted at all. And so it's my calling to try to lead our congregation that's full of a very diverse mix of people, politics, opinions on a variety of different matters. And so as a church, it's important for us, like I said, to be careful, to be able to maintain what one author, a guy named Stephen Carter, calls our prophetic voice. He actually talks about this in a book that I would recommend. It's called God's Name in Vain. It came out in the early 2000s, and Carter there talks about the role of the church to be a prophetic voice to the issues of our day and of our time. And he cautions the church against not hitching our wagon too much with any particular political party. And I think that's really good advice for us. But at the same time, I think it's important for us as individuals to be engaged in the issues of our time. And so that all brings me to this idea of an opportunity that's coming this Saturday, October 22nd, from 5 to 7. It's going to be held here at Wedgwood, and myself and a couple in our church, Mike and Celeste Barber, are going to be helping host this event. It's being brought to us by an organization called Christians Engaged. And this group, it's a nonprofit entity, and they have been around for several years now. And really their main theme is kind of threefold: to encourage Christians to pray, which is obviously a biblical command throughout Scripture, to pray for our leaders, to pray for those in authority in these elected positions, again, on a local, state, and national scale, to be praying for them, praying for God's wisdom for them, praying for God to work and to move in their lives and for them to lead us well. But then to also vote. They don't tell us how to vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but to be active in our civil responsibilities in that way. And then finally, to engage the culture, engage the system around us, to be involved in what's going on. It's so easy, I think, sometimes with the busyness of our lives and all the different things going on, to just kind of maybe vote, but then just leave everything else to other people. And their encouragement is for us as Christians to be involved in our communities in that way. And so this event will be talking about those three different things. There's going to be a small panel of people. We're going to be talking about just really those three areas of the importance of prayer, the importance of voting, and the importance of engaging the community. And so I'd invite you, this is a free event. Again, it'll be held here at Wedgwood in our Family Life Center from 5 to 7 o'clock. You can go online to christiansengage.org/events. Scroll down a little bit and you'll find Wedgwood there, and you can click on that event as well. And so love to be able to see you there. If you can't be, you can check out some of those other resources. But let me encourage you during this season to continue to be salt and light, and to be careful, to say what we say with gentleness, with love, with respect, to be, as James says, quick to hear, slow to speak. I think those are all some principles that we can definitely use this time of year, as our nation is probably seemingly more divided now than it's ever been. I hear that statement quite a bit. Whether or not that's true, I think we can definitely all testify that there is a lot of tension in our nation. And we want to be careful to be a source of encouragement and salt and light, to be different than those around us that may be so angst-driven and anxious and maybe even angry. And so we want to be a source of love and grace and peacefulness to our community and those around us. So I invite you to be there for us and be there and join us again this Saturday, 5 to 7, October 22nd. Also, as I always talk about, Wednesday night, all kinds of great stuff going on. And this Sunday, we'll continue a great series that we began a couple of months ago, going through the life of David there in 1 Samuel. It's a very interesting passage in which David has an unexpected opportunity to take matters into his own hands. And so I encourage you to be there with us, worship at 9 o'clock, and then our missional communities to follow afterwards. Hope you have a great week. Look forward to seeing you soon. God bless.